know what, I don't have a tractor, and maybe I don't have a tiller. Well, maybe you could hire someone just to, plow up your ground. Today I want to show you how to plant a garden without a tractor. It is a possibility. You can have any size garden that you want without a tractor. So let me show you how I do a garden, how I make a garden, how I've been doing it for years, except last year I did have someone come in, and this is new ground, and till this ground up and get it going and make the rows for me. But this year it didn't quite work out that way as far as having someone come in and make the rows up. So I'm going to show you the old-timey way, the old-fashioned way, the way my grandmother did it, as far as making up rows and having a garden. So I'm going to show you what I'm using, how I do it, and how easy it is. For those who want a garden but say, you know what, I don't have a tractor, and maybe I don't have a tiller. Well, maybe you could hire someone just to, plow up your ground, till up your ground like I did, and then from there you could start going forward in having a garden. So let's take a look at what I'm using, and this is how simple it is. So this is my garden, and most of it, well, just about completely all of it, and it will be this afternoon, all of it's been done this way. And the reason I'm doing it this way, because I have my potatoes here, and I have my rows spaced really wide. It's 3 feet wide, which is very unusual in what I do. Usually I'll have it around 2 feet. And that created me to say, you know what, I'm going to have to go ahead and continue on with this garden and do it the way I always do it. Now here into this section right here is pretty much the width I like to use. And the reason I like to use that is because that I can take my tiller, and I'm going to show you that, and I can go down this row one time, one sweep, and it's done. Now on top of that, by the time the vegetables grow, then it actually blocks out the grass, and it makes it really simple. On this row right here, you will see it's very narrow, but it's no difference than having a raised bed, and it really blocks out the grass, and it makes it simple and easy. This right here is the width I like to have. Now these rows have not been done by a tractor. It's all been done by hand. This is a 70 plus 70 size plot, garden plot here. It's pretty big. It's more than enough if you know how to manage your rows. And that's what I'm going to show you, how to manage these rows. Here you see a trellis here. That's usually where I put my cucumbers, and this trellis here is the one I usually put my beans on. Right now I've got garden peas growing, and then I'll be putting rattlesnake beans on this trellis right here. So these rows have already been made up. These right here are closer. I'm doing an experiment right here. And I don't know if it's going to work, but I got some corn planted here, just a short rows, because corn needs good pollination. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and try planting some corn, see how it does into this area. Here is the rear tiller that I use, and it works great. It doesn't work you to death. It makes it really simple. Actually, with this right here, I don't feel like that I need a tractor. Now I do have a tractor, but I don't have a cultivator, a tiller on the back of it. And and right now, because of the fencing that I'm putting up around this garden, because of deer and because of the dogs, this works out really great. And like I said, it's really easy. It's pretty much all you got to do is walk behind it. My first step is to go and I sweep through with this rear tiller, or you can take a tiller, and I go down the row to make a path so I can see how to make my rows, where my rows are going to be, so I don't have to pull a string. I don't have to do anything but pretty much just go by this diagram right here. You'll see where the rear tiller has tilled it up. I move over a little bit and I take my rake and I start making my row. Now this portion right here has not been completed. This rake right here, this garden rake, is what I use. It's really simple, and I'm going to show you how simple it is. So like I said, this is where I ran that rear tiller. It shows the markings. Then I came over a little bit and I just took the rake and dug the dirt out a little bit. And it's really easy. It takes no time. You just pretty much, you see that those markings right there where the rear tiller has gone through, and then you see where it stops at, those blades stop, and then you just go and you just take the dirt and just go through and you make a row, and you'll have a row in no time. Now with this right here, I can stop right here on this row right here and call that my row. Now for me, I make my rows a little bit bigger. I make them taller. A lot of people say it would create the the ground to dry out sooner because of the wind, but I don't have that experience. I really like doing it like this. This is how I've always did it. I like a full row here. But like I said, you don't have to do it like that. You can make, this could be just your row, and you can go ahead and go planting. Now, I'm going to go on the other side, and then what I do is I take and pull that dirt up, and then I have a row. And there's your row. Now I will continue on to the end of this row, and before I know it, I have got a row. Now after this, you would like to possibly, you can spread your fertilizer, your lime out in the garden. I've done that for years. A lot of people, and I've done it and starting to do it for the fact of saving on fertilizer and saving on lime. I will make a furrow in the middle of this row right here. Put down my fertilizer, put down my lime, cover it up with just a little bit of dirt, and then my seeds are ready to go into the ground. So let me show you how I do that. So this is the rake that I use to make my furrow. I also use this rake for hoeing around my potatoes or whatever else. This is good for, cultivating or breaking up the soil a little bit so that air can get to the roots. Now I'm going to show you how to make this furrow, and then you can put down whether you want organic fertilizer, 10-10-10, whatever type of fertilizer. You can get garden lime from Lowe's, and you can put it into your furrow. Today I'm not going to put the fertilizer in. I'm not going to put the garden lime in, because I'm just making my rows at this point in time. But I want to show you how simple it is. And that is how you can make a row without having a tractor. Like I've said, I've done this whole entire garden like this. You can do this. I've been doing this for years. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Usually I will plant in spurts. I might make a couple rows and maybe plant beans or whatever. Because I got some things coming up, I want to go ahead and get my rows made. That's why I'm not going to go ahead and put the fertilizer and the lime down. If I was going to go ahead and be planting, as you saw, I had made this furrow. Now I would go down this row right here. I would throw some fertilizer to the amount that I want. I would throw some lime in there. Or, like I've done for years, is just go throughout the garden, broadcast the fertilizer, spread out the lime. You can use fast-acting lime. I like to use just the regular lime, garden lime, and take and just put it out and let it sit there for a couple months. Or if I get behind, then I'll use the fast-acting lime. But you can even use fast-acting lime like for this, or to me, my experience, whether I use fast-acting lime or just a regular lime, it still does its work. So now I'm gonna just leave this sitting right here for the time that I'm ready to plant, and then I'll put my fertilizer in, I'll put my lime in, I'll brush it over just a little bit, cover it up a little bit. You're going to cover that fertilizer up and that lime up a little bit, and then you're going to plant. Whether it's plants or whether it's seeds, you're going to plant so that when it grows, those roots start stretching down and it can reach for that lime and that fertilizer and get the nutrients that it wants. So this is how simple and easy it is to have a garden. Many people want to have a garden, but they don't know how can I have this garden if I don't have a tractor? You can hire somebody. I hired some people last year, and it was $60 an hour, and it did not take very long, and they did an excellent job. They tilled up this place. They cultivated, tilled it up because it was new ground with grass, and they made my rows. They put the fertilizer in, they put the lime in, and they covered it back up, and all I had to do was plant, which is what I would love to continue on, but I guess I've been doing this for so many years that this is what I'm used to doing. And I just want to show you how simple and easy it is to have a garden. The size of your garden doesn't matter. The procedure is the same. You just continue on with just how I showed you, and you will have a garden growing before long. Now, one of the reasons I didn't have them come in and make my rows and make it easier on me, because I've got potatoes growing, I've got turnips growing, I've got mustard growing, I've got other things growing here, cool weather crops growing here right now, and I have my rows expanded out, which is kind of a default on my behalf, because I really don't like my rows about 3 feet apart. It seems to be a lot of waste, but you can experiment and do whatever works for you. To me, it's a lot of waste when you put your rows far out. Most people put the rows far out because they have a tractor. They want to make sure there's enough room for that tractor to get down those rows and do what it's got to do. Well, guys, thank you so much. I know the sun is behind the trees, but I just want to show you this because this has been in my heart, because I know there's many people out there that want to have a garden, but they're wondering how to do it. Now, in the past, I've also just took a regular tiller, tilled up that ground, and kept throwing that grass out. As I'm tilling, I just keep throwing it out. And you know what? It's not bad to be able to, have a garden by doing it that way. The first go around, just tilling it up and raking and throwing that grass out. Before you know it, you will have a plot just like this. Now, these guys came in, and when they tilled it up, there was a whole lot of roots, a whole lot of grass. It had not been tilled up or plowed up or anything for about 85 plus years. And so the ground was, you can say it was new ground. So it had a lot of roots, a lot of grass roots, a lot of bricks, actually, because there used to be a structure in this area many, many years ago. Actually, this used to be a portion of slave quarters, as they say. A place where it was a house. They were taken very well care of, but this was their quarters where they used to live at, where they used to help out onto the farm. So I would find brick in here, and find little broken pieces of glass. Unfortunately, I wish I could have found bigger pieces, but when the tilling took place, it broke up all this. And so if you get someone to till up your ground, know that it will dig down those roots and break it up. All you got to do is throw it out, throw all the grass out, and you will have your garden before you even know it. It wasn't bad at all. As a matter of fact, after throwing all these roots out and stuff and the grass, after this first year, after last year, the roots just rotted into the ground. They just rotted, which put nutrients back into the ground. Well, guys, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Please share and like, and please subscribe and help me to get out there in YouTube land. And I'm going to get back and making these rows, so I will have my rows made for planting that's coming up very, very soon. So see you on to the next video. Remember, God loves you. So do I. Truly do. And thank you for subscribing to me. It means so much to me. And know that you got to keep the faith in the days to come. See you on to the next video. Thanks, guys.